Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nareman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nareman Hamden, and this is Driven, Unscripted Success podcast. We have another awesome guest on today. We have Dr. Kate Gress, who is a chiropractor. She's a business owner and real estate investor with over 25 years of experience. She built and led multiple chiropractic practices and still owns one today. She began investing in commercial real estate more than 23 years ago, expanding into single-family and multi-family rentals, and now focuses on commercial multi-family properties through real estate syndications. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Where are you zooming in from?
I'm in Wisconsin.
How's the weather up there? Is it warming up?
It is warming up. It was like in the 90s on Sunday.
Oh yeah, you guys are Florida.
Most people are like, no, I hate this. I love it.
You're like, nope, I'm happy.
It's easy to like when you're.
Oh yeah, for sure. So why don't you give us a quick snapshot of your business, what you do and what your company does?
Sure. So I am a chiropractor and I have a few different businesses. I have a chiropractic practice. I also own rental properties, some single family, small multifamily, do some flips. And then I also have another company, Ascend Equity, where we do multifamily syndications, and we bring in passive investors to partner with us on those deals to share in the profits.
That's awesome. I have a business partner. We do the same thing. So we have our investors and partners where we help them earn double-digit returns on basically making passive income. So you're familiar with that, which is awesome. And the tax advantages are fantastic. So you can't go wrong. So why don't, if you could share with us, what, I guess this could go, you could answer it for one or both of your businesses. There's a lot of, we'll start with the chiropractic. There's a lot of competition in the chiropractic space. What sets you apart and what comes easy to you that others find challenging?
Well, I'm in a smaller community. So number one, that helps when you're out in the community. And then we do a lot of networking and meeting people and just making those connections. But also we are a family wellness practice. So in addition to, seeing just general adults, we see babies, kids. I have a pediatric certification. I myself don't see patients. I have a couple of associate doctors, so I basically just run the practice. And it's a wellness-based, very holistic wellness-based practice. So we see people of all ages. That's
great. And how do you, what's it? And then I guess for your real estate business, how do you? Obviously, that's extremely competitive. What's separates you from the rest of the GPs and syndicators out there?
Well, I think because my partner and I are both chiropractors, we really focus on working with other chiropractors. So we understand the struggles that they go through and the ups and downs of a chiropractic business, a chiropractic practice. And so when they become passive investors, that just helps them basically with cash flow, passive income, so that, they can kind of weather those storms of practice going, those ups and downs.
Sure. And then let me ask you, when you think back, are there any moments that you'd say really changed the game for you in your career?
Moments that changed the game for me. Probably early on when I look at like the chiropractic end of things, early on in practice, when you're out building a business, I went to a lot of seminars and did a lot of conferences and, education. And going through my pediatric certification was big, and seeing the bigger picture of chiropractic and realizing that there's so many people out there that need what we have. And it's not just about me, it's about them. And I think that applies into all of my businesses. It's not about me, it's about helping other people.
Sure. And how do you deal with taking risks? Is there a time that you rolled the dice and it really worked out for you?
Taking risks, I think, anyone who's a business owner, I think, is a risk taker at some level.
Sure.
I'm very analytical. So before I do anything, I'm always analyzing the crap out of things, which way can this go, this, that, or the other way? And, is this going to be the best, route for me? So even though I'm a big risk taker, I'm very calculated with those risks. So, and, I think that's worked out for me. That's just how I operate
Sure.
in life and my business.
Sure. So obviously everyone hits a bump in the road from time to time. Can you share a time that things didn't pan out and how you got through it?
So, yeah, that's a very good question. Um, I think that there was a point in my career where I just like kind of struggled with some burnout, which I think a lot of chiropractors do at certain points. Um,
Sure.
Whether you are a business owner or maybe just an associate and you don't own the business, but you have a practice. And I think there was a time in my career where it was like, okay, this is just too much, a little bit, burnout that way. And so I think I always went back to, again, like I said before, this is not about me, it's about them, right? So
Sure.
there's people that need us, that need our care, and, just getting my head back in the game, getting back into, going to seminars, listening to speakers in my profession, getting back into the philosophy of chiropractic and what we do that way. So that helps me get my mind back in the game.
Sure. So staying on top of any field of stuff, what's something exciting that you see in the horizon in your business and how are you getting ready for it?
So something I find really exciting in my business is I'm taking a little bit different direction. I'm actually going to be selling my practice next year and going more full time into the real estate realm. But I think I'm fortunate that I'm getting to work still within my profession and work with other chiropractors. So I'm still in that, but I'm able to do real estate, which I do love also. So I'm kind of blending the two of those together. And yeah, it's kind of exciting. I'll be able to really focus a little bit more on the real estate, although I do a lot of that now. It's just going to be a little bit different and
Yeah.
exciting. And also, I'm working on building out some courses for chiropractors as well, some leadership courses, some wealth building courses. So that's really exciting, and I'm really excited about that and being able to teach other people and people maybe that chiropractors that want to learn to do what I've done, building more of a business, maybe stepping away from seeing patients a little bit more, less stress, being able to take more time off, hire associates, bring in more team members, and be able to scale yet step back a little bit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like all doctors, I mean, I give them so much credit with their grueling hours. I mean, you guys are just there, I mean, open to close. It's all week, holidays, everything. So, I mean, you got to really love what you do and love giving back and helping, to have that mindset. So, which could be, like you said, easily to burn out on.
Yeah,
So,
it totally can be. And especially I think with insurance, a lot of practices that deal with insurance, that's just gotten worse and worse over the years and more of a headache and the insurance companies dictating how we can practice, which that's just no fun.
yeah, I couldn't even imagine. Um, so let me ask you, what's a skill or habit you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
I think this is kind of, I guess it's not really that exciting, but just having a routine. I have my routine. I get up, I work out in the morning, and kind of leading into that as far as working out, just taking care of myself physically is important. And obviously, with a chiropractic background, being very holistic, nutrition, diet, exercise, all of those things come into play, getting adjusted regularly. So that is part of my regular routine and my wellness routine. So I think that helps me physically, but also relates back to my mental and emotional state.
Sure. So leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
So I think my leadership style, I'm a little bit more laid back, I would say. However, I haven't always been. I think I used to be a little bit more strict. I probably was more of a micromanager in the past, but over the years I've learned to lighten up on that a little bit more. But, I always practice what I preach. So if I'm telling my doctors or my team members to go out and do something, go out and do this screening or that screening, I've been there too. I'm going to go and help you. So even though I'm not involved with the patient care directly, I still do some of the marketing and I'm involved in that. And I tell them, I never tell them to go do something that I have never done before. So that's huge. I think that my leadership style, I always bring them back to the mission of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish, bring them back to the purpose. So I think that's huge in leading.
Sure. So when you're building your dream team, what's the one trait you look for and why?
I would say, as far as a chiropractic practice goes, one of the big things is I need someone who's going to care about our patients or our practice members. That's huge. Someone who's going to be caring because, if it's someone at the front desk or it's obviously a doctor, they're there to care for our patients. So that's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, I would think so, especially in the chiropractic industry. Now it's very hands-on, and people have all sorts of different things that are just not syncing properly in their body, and you need to be empathetic to that. I mean, I've had I see a chiropractor all the time, so that's like my medical doctor. I don't even have like a primary doctor because
Right.
the adjustments, they just know the body and how to realign it so it's functioning properly, as opposed to, oh, you're going to need this pill, and then you're going to need this pill to counter that pill with that side effect, and why don't we add this one on too? I'm like, no, I'm good. No.
Yeah. And who
So,
wants that? I mean, so many people, they don't want that.
right. And I mean, it's like I have a hard time keeping track of my vitamins, let alone like having to take something serious, Like, no.
And, the other thing is our patients become like family.
Yeah.
They know our front desk. Just the other day we had a patient come in and she was just going through a really hard time and just really confided in my front desk person. And we had a discussion about that. And I said, you should be really honored that that person opened up enough to you
Sure.
about those things. So they are kind of like our chiropractic family. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, has there been a book, a podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
Well, there's several, but a book, I would say, going back to the real estate part of it, when it first came out, everyone's probably heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so I read that, however long ago that was when it came out, and just kind of got me thinking and, of the basics of investing and real estate. So that's
Sure. Yeah, not to date either one of us, but I think it came out that like during the Oprah Winfrey days. He was on her show.
probably.
So, but it is a good book. I mean, it's been around forever, and it has helped a lot of people out and has changed a lot of people. I mean, look at you as a chiropractor, which influenced you enough, to get into the real estate world in game.
Yeah.
So definitely a great book. How do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
I think that when I'm tackling something difficult and wanting to learn, I just keep at it. I find as many resources as I can, podcasts, books, whatever, conferences. And I love learning. So I love absorbing that stuff. And even when it seems difficult, I just have to tell myself, keep going, keep learning,
Yeah,
and you'll get it.
sure. So the financial landscape is always evolving with new opportunities and challenges. How do you stay informed and make decisions about where to allocate resources, especially when it comes to less traditional options?
How do I stay informed? I would say kind of going back to the whole thing with going to conferences, listening to
Sure.
podcasts, reading. It's just all of that, just being educated on all of it and looking, following those people that are really in that space, right? The people that are in, say, real estate, who are
Mhm.
in multifamily, what we do, just following them, following the market, seeing what it's doing, and just learning from them, staying on top of it.
Sure. So if you had any advice for someone wanting to follow in your footsteps, what would it be?
So I would say just, finding a mentor, finding a coach is huge.
Hmm.
I've had coaching throughout my career, chiropractic, real estate. I think that's huge. So find someone that can help mentor you or coach you, and learn, just absorb it all and learn and go with it.
That's good advice. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you or your services, how does one get a hold of you?
So you can go to our website. It's www.ascendequitygrp.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Dr. Kate Gress, or Facebook, Dr. Kate Gress.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. And it sounds exciting, the next year for you at selling your practice and going full throttle into what you love doing, your newfound love, real estate, and just having a more flexible schedule to go with that. So that's pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you want to get a hold of Dr. Gress, uh, she just gave you the details. Go to Facebook or LinkedIn or to her website. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.